Hello there. I apologise for the slight lateness there. I switched live, or I pressed live, and it just went, no, don't want to do that today. But tough, it's sorted itself out, so that's all good. So, hello, how is everybody? I thought today we'd use a different colour pen. So I'm going to come in today and I'm going to use a grey pen. I might actually bring in a little bit of my the Brunswick fine liners as well. I've got the darkest red here, but I'll see. I might use that. I might stick with one. I'm going to sort of see how it goes. Hi everybody. So here we go. Filling in the back of our tile. Now I usually do this at the beginning of the my prep. So here we go. Tile number 134. The date, I have no idea what today's date is. Is it 29th? Here we go then. 29th. Or is it the 30th? I have no idea. I tell you what, I'm going to come back and fill that in later. I don't know what day it is, let alone anything else. What's new? What's new? Okay. So what do we have today then? I've got my basic tile, my cream tile there, and again, as I mentioned, a grey pen. And I'm going to bring in my pencil and my tortillon. Might bring a bit of pastel colour in, depends how I sort of feel. But for now, we're just going to work with them. Oh, thank you, Christine. I will go and sort that out in a little bit. I know, Julie. I have no idea what day it is. I really don't. But it's all good. It's all good. It's just, it's nice to be busy. Okay. So, deep breath. Here we are. Don't you, Chris? I don't know. I think for me, it's one of the things I do as a ritual that I do at the start of it. And then I sort of own my tile. So, okay. Now, quite lightly with this. I'm not going to go too heavy because I don't want this to be sort of seen at the end. I'm going to bring in a bit of a border. So let's have a look here then. So from this one to this one. I'll do this one while I'm here. Sort of in there. Okay. And in here. Hi Rose. I have got your order on my desk. I just haven't got around to it yet. I'll get to it. Not to panic. Okay. And then I'm going to do another. So it's almost the space here. I'm going to split it, sort of, to create another frame. There we go. Oh, do you, Chris? Oh, goodness me. I know. I think as well, I don't really, I'm not distinguishing, and I'm sure a lot of people are the same. Days from weekends. It's all a little bit crazy. Oh, not to worry. There we are. Okay. So this is where it's sort of started. Okay. So yeah, if you've not got a grey pen, it really doesn't matter. You can stick with your black today. It's just that I wanted to do a slightly more subtle version of this tile. It just it's not as sort of in your face, but let's see how we go. Okay. So I'm going to work first of all then in this section here. So this sort of middle bit. So I'm going to come in a little bit larger. All right, okay. Doesn't matter where we start because it's sort of going to work its way all the way around. And I'm not actually going to break the space up and segment it. I'm going to start at one end and work round. And it really doesn't matter how it sort of ends. It's going to join, so please don't worry about it. Are you ready? Okay. Deep breath. Whew. So I'm going to start then with a bit of a swirl. There we go. Bit of a swirl. Okay. And just going to add a little bit of depth there. I'm not going to do anything around here, just a little bit there. And then a smaller one. There we go. And I think from off there, I'm going to do a smaller one. So you notice that, yeah, I'm going into that frame then, into that border. It doesn't matter. So let's go from here and create another. There we are. Again, just sort of add a little bit of weight to that one there, you see? Chris, that's fine. Everybody's got their own way of doing it, that's fine. So I'm going to do one here. So you notice that already I'm going out of the border, and that's absolutely fine because it's only a guide. So we're just going to take it steady, okay? And another one here. Now you notice as well that they're all slightly different size. So they're getting a little bit smaller kind of thing. And each time I do one, it's sort of in the opposite direction of the one that came before. There we go. So see this one here, look? I'll do that way. Just going slightly out of that border, but that's fine. Okay. And so let's bring one in here. So I'm just sort of not crossing any particularly, but just filling it as I go. All right. So let's have another one there. Again, just have a little one peeking out round there. Okay. So again, just a little bit there. Oh, Sue, that's fine, but sometimes there's so much work goes into a tile to go over it all in pen. Well, everybody has their own way. All right, there we go. So just follow that one up a little. They're sort of like, you know, growing from each other. And as I work my way around, no, I know. But remember, we draw those in pencil, so we can actually be rebels and go over them. It's absolutely fine. It's allowed. And I actually want that kind of loose-looking border. I don't really want it to be so square that it's too regimented today. It's sort of I don't know, we're controlling the chaos. There we are. So okay, I'm just gonna work it round there a little. See, and just there we go. That one. You see, I've sort of turned the corner here. And that's not really been such an issue. It's just about moving it round. Yeah, that's all right then. I was going to say, doing everything in pencil. I know we do some things in pencil. There we are. Okay. And see, just continuing, just adding that little, see the difference, adding that little bit of weight. So, I'm sitting here today, it's quite cool today, isn't it? But, you know, the amount of warmth around me, all these tiles that people have posted, it's just lovely to see. Thank you ever so much, everybody. And I know that we've got our deadline, was it the 3rd of May? And I know that's a bank holiday Monday, so I won't actually start to do any swaps until, I'll probably go to Wednesday. I'll do it Wednesday because then any tiles that do come in on Tuesday, I'll be able to include them. So just being that, you know, that Monday sort of swaps it around a bit, doesn't it? Oh, thank you, Bob. Imagine doing this in different colours. That'd be quite smart, wouldn't it? Maybe, you know, using the Brunzil range, or maybe even the chameleons, you know, because you don't know when they're going to change. That'd be quite nice. See, I've not done a little one for a while. Let's have a little one in there. Oh, yeah. Okay. And all it is, it's just these little swirls. Each time, just sort of fill that top in a little. And I'm just working in opposite directions as I go along. One to the other. Okay. So I'm going to have a bigger one there. I don't want to sort of keep it uniform. I like to change it around a bit. Yeah. Oh, Lynn, I don't have any pastel tiles on the show on Sunday. They are on my website, so you can get them from there. And Sketchpad's not, because I've got something a bit different on there, so see what you think. Now I did say I'd show you, didn't I, what we were going to do. Now I'm hoping that Leslie's listening because she can actually bring one through for me, because I don't have them here. We're so busy making things, so we're getting there. Oh, Rose, I'm sure it will. There's quite a lot here. I've not opened all of them because any that arrived yesterday, they're sort of here this morning. Still in their envelopes, but they're going to be fabulous. I'm so excited. It's great to see all the tiles.
Is Leslie listening?
Here she is. Oh, look what she's brought. I can show you one. I'll show it you in a little bit. Alright. There we are. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going. Alright. Again, just working out those borders. I know Leslie's actually, we're in the same building, but she's at the other side of the building in a different room, so yeah. And she doesn't always actually work along because obviously she's doing other things. She's just sorting out the packing, so if you've put an order through on my website, Leslie's the one that's packed them today. So here we go. Working my way around, and you know, when you sort of look back on it and you think, goodness me, I've drawn that, what I've created, it's quite nice, and it's starting to sort of just flow. You might find that between one side and the other, you know, they've got smaller or they've got larger, and that's absolutely fine. I think actually let's put a larger one in there. Look, it sort of evolves as you're working your way around it. But that's absolutely fine. See, I've not too many little ones in, so I have another one there. And of course, just sort of turning the corner as you go. Nice and gentle. Now, I don't know if there's anybody watching from the US today. I do have a US live show with Create and Craft later. Now, just for the US, now I'm saying we might. I've got to do it via Zoom because obviously going all that way for one show at this time of night, and then of course going in on Sunday is a little bit too much. So we said, go on, we'll try Zoom and see what that's like. So I've not actually zoomed into Create and Craft before, so hopefully, hopefully I'll be there. If not, it's fine. But yeah. You'll get a first preview really of what I'm bringing to air on Sunday. There we go. All right. See, it's sort of, I said to now that it would join up. It wasn't about, you know, trying to match it or split the space off in any way. It would just naturally come together. Okay. Oh, Viv, I know what you mean. My classroom when I was teaching used to be just sort of opposite almost the music rooms. You know, technology is always the furthest away from the main school, and so is the music. Of course, if the doors are open, sometimes it'd sound fabulous, and sometimes not so much. Oh, I used to do that. I miss that actually. So I used to play in the school band. And I sung in the school choir too, so yeah, it was a nice way to sort of get to know the kids as well in a different light. All right, look at this, it's fantastic, I love it, love it. I'm just going to put one in here, there's a little bit of a gap, see, let's just put that. Okay, and I wanted that sort of, you know, slightly not in the borders, but that's lovely. So okay, let's come on in now, and I'm going to just put an aura all the way around the shape I've just created. So just sort of work it round. You see, I'm not going in right into those little crevices. It's just almost working its way just round, giving it a little bit of a curve along the way. There we go. So just taking my time. I'm going to turn my tile. You see? Oh, thank you, Tracy. It's quite subtle as well, isn't it, with it being grey? Do you know, actually a sepia or a brown fine liner looks pretty good as well when you do something like this. There we go. Just working my way around. Alright, in there. And I must admit, I've been seeing some fantastic work on the pages. Now, I do apologise if I've not actually commented on your work. It's not because I've got nothing to say. I've perhaps not got round to it yet, but I do look. It's, so please, a little bit of patience and I will get to it. So we've just had a little bit of a busy few days. So, yeah, it's worth it though. I do love it. There we go. Okay. Oh, Lisa's, hopefully it's not too bad there. I hope you're having a good time. It's just nice, actually, don't you think, to have a break from seeing the same thing day in, day out? I think that's what it's about, isn't it? We just want to sort of get away. Oh, Jackie, yes, I know. Yeah, it's a little bit different, isn't it, using grey when you know, used to black. It looks quite faded, but I kind of like it. So it's always nice to just play around and, you know, just change it up a little bit. I do love my black pens, but yeah, there we go. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now, just to avoid this, because you can see here where that line was. Now, if you were at home, you probably not got your line that dark, but as you know, I always do it a little bit darker so you can see where I'm working. But if you think, oh, do you know what, I need to remove it, just make sure your pen's dry. And then I'm just going to remove those guides. There we are, lovely little border. It's a bit different, isn't it? Okay. So sticking, you know, on the sort of theme of borders, let's add one down the edge here. I'm going to keep it quite fine. I'm not going to worry too much if it's not straight because nothing else is, so that's all fine. There you go. And this one too. So you just join it. Just turning my tile as I go. Of course, I'm going to be coming back anyway, so if I missed a bit, it really doesn't matter. I think sometimes I might do that because I've got my pen at an angle, and these pens do work better if you've got them as upright as you can have them. But of course, if I'd got my pen upright like this, you wouldn't actually see what I was doing. So if you can, try and keep yours upright when you're using it. But I just want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So, all right. Okay, so I've got a bit of a border around there as well. So let's sort of focus on this area. I'm going to save this little bit for last. And there we go. So where are we going to sort of work on this? I'm going to come on in and I'm going to add another little swirl in here. See? Just like so. And then a little one. Now the idea is here, I'm not really wanting these swirls to touch each other from side to side. So there's a little bit of a gap. So you think this is almost like one social distancing bubble and this is the other. So I'm going to just sort of, you know, not go completely mirror image all the time. Now I want them to look a little bit different if possible. There we go. So you just sort of, again, just adding that little bit of weight onto the bottom edge of that little curl there. There we go. See, that one's being a bit brave, but that's okay. All right. And then let's Let's have another one here. There we go. See, I can get a little one in there. And then go a little bit bigger. And again, all the time, just coming in and adding that little bit of weight just to that edge there. I'm working my way around. Just in little motions. There we go. Alright. So again, coming up to the corner, just going to work my way around just as I did before. I'm just going to let it go with the flow. See where it sort of leads. Yeah, look. Okay, turning it round. Yes, it is, Chris. I've done everything now in pen. I've not changed. It's because it's a grey pen. It looks a little bit lighter. But no, it's definitely in pen. You were too busy looking at your tiles, weren't you, to notice what I'd done. If anybody doesn't know, Chris does have quite a collection of tiles. It's all very nice and colourful. We just need to get him to use them all, don't we, Chris? Okay. So, just something about this. At the minute, when you think about it, we have done nothing else but create these lovely swirls. And at the minute, it's looking fab. It can only get better. There we are. So just following it round. Again, just trying to leave a gap. Chris. Oh, it's a good job you know me. We have to have a sense of humour, don't we? Okay, so I'm moving around a little bit. I'm trying to make it a little bit different as I go. We don't want a sort of a repeat border. So just as long as they don't touch. There we are. So another one coming along there. Okay, almost to the end of that second line there. And again. And there we go. In we go. So I'm going to put one there. Let's have one coming here. And along there. So just sort of taking my time. So, busy weekend then for some people, I'm sure, with it being a bank holiday. Maybe you're going to be seeing family and friends again, or whether you're just hoping for a little bit of warm weather to sit outside. It's going to be nice, hopefully. And the thing I quite like about doing a pick of the day on a Sunday is I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because obviously with it being a seamless Sunday, all that happens first, so I don't need to get there until about 10 in the morning, so it's brilliant. Get a little bit of a lie-in anyway. It's usually more of a lie-in if Benji decides he wants to come up for a cuddle. Then he sort of, once he gets on the bed and he wants to cuddle, oh, it's just lovely, it's just so warm. Oh, I know, Janet. I know exactly what you mean. But even though I do work bank holidays, as you know, I think I work 24/7. But some people don't, surprisingly. So, I have to think about these things. So, like, for example, Hermes, they don't collect on a bank holiday. And, of course, I have to book Hermes collections a day in advance. So I've had to book today for Tuesday for a show that I don't know even if I'm going to sell anything at the minute. It's always the case, always a risk. So I've had to sort of guess a little bit and see where it goes. I have no idea. Oh my goodness, Joe, that should be nice. See your son? I haven't seen mine since, goodness me, last February. I don't know. No, it's been a bit like that, hasn't it? There we are. So, I'm going to see my mum again next weekend. comes up and tries to spoil the dogs. Don't allow her. For extra treats. No, we've got to be careful with Benji now, because after his little op, they say, you know, he's got to watch his weight. Okay. Oh, Lindsay, yeah, do you know what though? I never take it for granted that I will, because, you know, I'm always so grateful that people do like what I'm doing. It's lovely, but I would never for 1 minute just expect it to happen. You know, I work really hard to bring new stuff and stuff that you like, but yeah, I never expect, so don't take things for granted that way. But it's lovely. It's nice that you've got faith in me. It really is. Thank you. But, no, I do. You know, I do like everything I make. It's, you know, this one is one of those ideas that you think, oh, do you know what? That's what I do. So maybe other people would like it. So, yeah. All right. So you see, I'm just doing an aura around the shapes that I've done now. I do apologise for those of you that are thinking, what on earth is she doing? So I'm just drawing around just as I did before. There we go. Just following the line. Oh, there we go. Just going to bring that back in there because that's where the line was. All right. Okay, so let's have a look. Oh, Lynn, thank you. There we are. So I've got this kind of, I've got this sort of gap in the middle now. So, okay, let's, I'm just going to come in some of the areas where I can. I'm just going to add a little bit of more ink, a little bit of weight. So just sort of, any of those little deep sort of curves and in things. Not every single one, you don't have to do every one. You see? It's just sort of work my way around. There we go. One in there. All right. Just following it through. See, I'm just going to do them together. So I'm almost changing the shape of it. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Pat. Pat, thank you. So, Yana, you've got some pencils. They've gone in the post. But Leslie and I have added a little bit to it for you. We thought, you know, you might like what we've put in. So, I know, all secretive. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, so again, I'm not doing every one. I'm just sort of going along and filling in a little bit of a line there. You see how it's just sort of giving it a little bit of a different depth. Starting to bring a bit of interest in there. All right. So of course we could do each one, or you could have changed the colour. But I'm going to stick with the grey for now. I've got colour here if I want it. I'm just going to see how it plays out. Okay. And now I don't really want to put a black pen in this because that's going to really stand out against this. Although if I wanted a contrast, that'd be kind of nice. I might actually do all this colour and then just put like a pop of a single colour in the centre on one of the bits we're going to do there. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to do another aura around that shape, or those shapes I've created. See here, it's quite close, isn't it? So you can choose to carry on. I might actually just create a shape on its own there. See, just sort of following it round. Just sort of to fill that space. So here, look, I've got another. And then this one. So, you know, if you haven't really got the space to go in between them, then that's great. Just sort of work your way around. Just filling in those spaces. See, I'm going to stop there on purpose. And then I can actually create another one there. Look, they're almost like little puddles. Just filling in those gaps there. All right, put one there. See, quite close. I mean, yours might be slightly further apart. If that's the case, you could do another aura and then add more of those sort of heavy little bumps if you wanted to. Of course, it depends on how wide your border was to start with. Karen, it's a pick of the day. So, yeah, I think it's 12 o'clock, somewhere around 4-ish. And then 8:15. Oh, at Woodland, yeah. Okay, so there, again, I'm just going to come on in. And I'm quite lucky, I've got a brush pen that's grey. So I can come on in, look, and just fill these little areas in now a little bit quicker than I would be able to with a narrow pen. Like that. There we go. 10-minute round. Through. There we go. Again, let's make one there. So it's sort of almost filling the gaps in, isn't it? And although it's such a simple way of doing this, it's easy done, isn't it? And it just looks really effective. There we go. So just sort of meandering its way around. There we go. Right. Okay. So this one, quite a large one around this corner, look. There we go. Just filling that little bit in. Alright. Okay, let's have a look at that, see where we're at with it. Okay, so I think before we actually do anything in the centre, I'm going to sort of break off with tradition, and I'm going to come in with my pencil, and I'm just going to sort of add in a little bit of graphite. Now you see it's quite close in colour to the pen, just around that first aura that I drew around the outside. So it's sort of picking up on those extra bits, but it's just giving me a bit of a formal frame there, you see. And I'm going in quite heavy, I'm not messing about here. It's quite a lot of graphite I'm putting on there. Okay, see, just sort of following that initial shape. You see where that original frame now is coming back, because we sort of lost it a little when we added those extra bits and pieces. There we go. All right. And I'm also going to do the same on the inside here. And again, I'm going to be quite heavy, just so I can get that shape in there. Working it round. There we go. Just following the shape as, you know, generally, really. If it's not quite, don't worry about it. There we go. Almost a bottom bit. There we go. So, tortillon. And I'm going to sort of work in here and just ever so gently. I'm just going to come round first of all, just sort of circular motions, just to sort of get it going. Now I'd like to, if I can, keep that real darkness at the edge. Let's go in a little bit. There we go. You see I've still got that dark edge. So I'm just almost pulling a little bit of the graphite off, you see. There we go. Same here. Just keep it nice and gentle. I'm not touching all of it, I'm just touching this end closest to my tortillon and just letting it pull out a little bit. Alright, you see, just following it round. There we go. And then under there. Okay. And then I'm just going to work my way across a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a pull, you see, just so. There we go. See how it just drags it out a little bit? But I don't want to sort of drag it all the way across, just want a little bit. Moving it. Okay, same here. So just pulling it in a little bit. There we go. And this one. Okay, so you see you've got a little bit of a shape there. Now the outer one I can be a little more boisterous with almost, and just sort of, you know, work it round a little bit heavier, because it's just going to sort of give it a little bit of shading there. Alright, so a little bit more pressure, just applying it there. Okay, just working my way through there. Same on this one. See, just giving it a little, you can hear the difference when I put a bit of pressure on there. It's a lot more, isn't it? Okay. Okay. So that gives us our sort of starting point, doesn't it? There we go. I'll probably come back and put some pencil on this in a little while, but I'm not going to worry about that in a minute. I'm just going to sort of focus, I think, on the centre now, and let's see where that's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to stick with my grey pen, and I'm going to make this a little bit larger now so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so first of all then, let's have a look here. So let's start, I'm going to start in the middle-ish. Well, there's my middle. I'm going to come this way a little bit, and I'm going to create a little of an odd-shaped sort of oval kind of ball. Now you might want to just sort of wait for a little minute so you can see where this is headed, and then you can create some shapes. So sort of underneath it, leaving a bit of a gap. Let's do another one. So that's going to be sort of slightly ovalish. You see how they're quite irregular in shape. And then I'm going to do another one. Okay. So I'm just going to then put a couple of lines following through. There we are, just sort of join them to the base. Okay, so let's go this side. I'm going to just bring one now in here, sort of in that little gap. You see in that gap there? And then another one. So they're quite close together there. I'm going to put a little one here. Okay. And then in we go there. See, that's not quite due, that's all right. And there. So I'm just sort of joining them together. Okay. Let's do another one. So you see my shapes are sort of bubbles, but some of them have got slightly flatter areas, just because we can. Sort of very irregular. Here I might go a little bit longer, see? Now it depends, of course, on how yours are gapped together. You might want to make them a little bit bigger or a bit smaller. And then again, just sort of joining them. Okay? So now coming to this side, I could put one actually. Put a little one in there, look. And just join it to the bottom there. And then another. I'm going to go a bit larger with one there. So it's a very, very irregular shaped bubble. But that's good. If you struggle with circles, then this is brilliant. It really doesn't matter. The less, the further away from a circle it is, the better. Maybe so, yeah. We all have lots of ideas, don't we? We all see different things. There we go. All right. And then, of course, I'm sort of keeping within those sort of areas. Let's have one there. Okay. And then joining it again to the ground almost. Okay. And then I'm going to go quite, I think, small, because see, they've started small and they're getting bigger. So I think now I'm going to go right in there and have just a couple. See, just so they sort of peek in there. I'm going to keep that line quite fine because they're not actually really touching. And then I'm going to have quite different shaped ones there. See, very regular, but they work kind of nice together. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come back in with that brush. And I'm going to, I say randomly, I know when I say randomly people get a bit of a twitch. I want you to choose just a few of them and we're just going to fill them in. So I have one up there. Fill them. All right. And then maybe this one. And then that one there. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm going to come in, just got a white gel pen. I'm just going to add a little bit of a highlight. You see, just on the tops there. It's because we can't really add much shade to them now, so just a little bit of a highlight, okay? And then back to my grey pen. And again, let's just pick on just a couple of them, nothing crazy. And let's go a little bit larger so you can see it. Sheep on sticks. I'm going to pick this one here. And I'm going to sort of add a little bit of a curved line. Just fill it in with those curved lines. You see, just working from the same area. Now you could put any tangle in there, any you like. I'm just going to pick a couple of those. Yeah, I might just do one day. Actually, I might just go with lines there. Look. Just add in a couple of different ones in. Okay. So I'm just going to come back in now with my pencil. Let's just move that out a little. Okay, perhaps. And I'm just going to add that little smirk onto one. I'm going to choose one I'm not going to do anything with, and I don't want it to be in the centre. So I'm going to choose this one here, and I'm not going to do anything with that one at the minute, so I'm not putting any of that shading on. No pencils going on it. You see, just a little bit of a mark on each one. So, see, now I've identified that one. And of course, just at the tops, I'm just going to add a little bit of pencil in there too. See? A little bit there. Okay? A little bit there. Look. And then back in with that tortillon. Now, I haven't put any shading on these patterned ones because probably going to have enough graphite on my tortillon to actually work with that anyway, to give it a little bit of shadow in a minute. There we go. So that's a little bit of shadow on all those. So let's just sort of give it a little bit of work. See, you see there's plenty of graphite on there for it to work. Okay. So I'm going to come back in with my grey pen. And I'm just going to, because I've put my shadow on this side, I'm just going to darken up those sides, that one and that one, you see? If you put shadow on this side, then you would perhaps darken up this side. But I'm just going to give it a little bit more weight, you see? Just sort of on those sides, even on this one. And then this one. See, just continuing to sort of add, there's no point putting it on the ones we've coloured in because you'll not see the difference in tone there. But there we go. Just working it round, you see, just adding a little bit of depth. And then of course, being that I've used that side, I'm going to just add a little bit of weight to that line as well. Of course, if you've added shadow on the other side, then you'll do this line on the other side too. So just adding that little bit in there. Okay. All right, let's just have a quick look at that. All right, I think I'm just going to come round again and just go over that aura. Remember that we did, seems like ages ago, but we did it now. Working it in. Okay. See, it's just about going over it again, and I am going to go around the whole thing. It's going to be quite, I want it quite dark there. And again, just following it round just before. Go, if it's not quite exactly the same, it doesn't matter, that's fine. Okay. So sticking with this pen from the top, I'm just going to add a little bit of a wavy line and a couple of dots. A wavy line, a couple of dots. Now they don't have to be the same size, you don't have to do the same amount of waves or dots. It's just about giving it a little bit of texture. There we go. Just along that top edge there. You see, I'm going to come a little bit further down. Okay, so just working it. Same on this side. Now if you find it easier to work up bank, you can obviously turn your tile round and draw these the other way round. But you don't have to. I quite like it coming towards me. I can sort of see where it's headed rather than away from me. Alright, okay. Let's take that down a bit. Let's have a look at it. So we've got quite a bit of a shadow there. Alright, there's a couple more things, and I haven't forgotten this one here, so don't think I have. But I'm just going to come back in. I'm just going to add my pencil to the outside. There we go. So it's quite busy sort of all around the edges, and it's probably one of the busiest tiles we've used using the same particular design or the same sort of swirl or curl. But the focal point is in the centre. Alright, so again I'm just going to come on in now, add a little bit of softness to this end. There we go. See, because it's quite heavy, it's quite sort of easy to sort of work back and forth, just to sort of work it round. There we go. Same on this one. Okay, let's have a look at that. Alright, so I think we can afford just to sort of pull it over a little bit. Just give it a little bit of shadow on this side too. Now, I did say at the beginning I'd got a red pen, so I'm going to bring that red pen into play now. Yes, Denise, here we go. So, some of you might have the bronzy or just the fine liners. This is the fine liner and the brush. It doesn't matter, honestly, because they're all sort of the same. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a little bit of red into there, and I'm just going to leave a little white mark. Now if you've sort of done that and you find that you've lost your white mark, then go back in with a gel pen, it's absolutely fine. So that's it, that's all the colour I'm going to put on it today. So let's just pull that out a little now. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've flipped. No, I haven't flipped, but my camera did. There you go. All right, so, okay, maybe just a touch more shadow, just a touch more, darkness in those areas. Just a, I'm just going to do those two sides, I think. There we go. Perhaps that's what I was thinking about, I don't know, but it's very, very unusual, but I just had to do it. It's a lovely little piece, and nice combination of the curls and swirls, and then this lovely sort of leading you in, really, isn't it? It's almost Alice in Wonderland, leading you in to this tiny little sort of portrait in the middle. But yeah, Charlotte, I know, but you know what? when you get to tile 134, you've got to go random, you've got to go different, because I like to keep you on your toes. So, okay, that's tile 134, and that's going to have a signature. I'm going to put it here. Oh, not with that brush pen now. I'll do it with the light one. So, in terms of being completely different, I have created 2 completely different products. Same but different for Sunday. And here's the first one. Now, this came to me. It's one of those crazy moments, and I thought, I was sat on the sofa of an evening and thought, do you know what? I really don't want to be working with my stencils tonight. They're all over the place, and Benji wanted to come up, and I was losing bits, and I thought I just want to tangle, and then I can, whatever I do, I can actually use it later on, and I can bring my frames in and everything. So I chose my sort of favourite stencil sort of designs, so like the fairies, the lotus, the owls, and what I've actually created is a series of stenciled prep almost. So you can see there, they're probably the most basic designs I've ever perhaps drawn, but it's not for me to sort of follow through with them. Look at that one. It's sort of for you to actually use them as a starting point. So if I just click to the front for a minute, I've given you some tangles that you can use, suggested tangles, but then also I've given you some potential things you could do with it. So that one, see, is just coloured. And then that one's coloured and tangled. Look at that owl. There's my little fairy. Yeah, I did mean for it to go off the page. And this one, look at that, from something really simple. So you've got the outline of this one, but then you can tangle it, tangle and colour, and look what you can create with it. So then, okay, look at even the butterflies. So, okay, I've put the circle in the background there, but you've actually got the butterflies to start with. I think the beauty of these is you can actually bring your other stencils in. So if you wanted to add more daisies or more flowers, oh, there we go, there's some that I've tangled already, look. There we go. And you can sort of add your own bits and pieces in too. But then I thought, well, okay, if you've got those, what if you wanted to build on it as well? So I've also done a frames book to match. So similar sort of thing here, whereas you've got, I'll explain it, I've got starting points of frames for you, and these will fit in and amongst with your regular frame stencils, but it means you can just sit there of an evening, you could actually add your tangles into this, or you could add your artwork into these, and just create that. And then when you've got a minute later, or whether you maybe, you sat in your craft room, then you can take these out of the book, and you can, look at that one, and you can then create something a bit bigger with them. So that's the kind of thing, look at that one, that we've got coming at the weekend. So there's your sneak peek, and that's the first time anybody's seen them, so I hope you like them. So okay, with that in mind then, there's your tile. So have a lovely weekend, give it a go, try it with a few colours, and we'll see what you come up with. And yeah, if you're still, sending your tile, as long as it's in for Tuesday, as long as I get it Tuesday, then you can take part in the swap. So looking forward to that. Lots going on next week. So, all right, guys, if you're around on Sunday, please, switch on, have a watch, and it'd be lovely. If not to worry. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. All right. So, okay, have a good one, everybody. See you soon. Bye.